looked at my phone and it says, active shooter.
Active shooter alert. Terrifying moments at Corewell Health Troy Beaumont Hospital. A man accused of shooting his colleague in the parking garage.
Pure shock. Pure shock. And then to hear it was an employee, that even hit harder.
Lockdowns extending to schools and daycares.
That really struck a chord, like I said, because we've already been through that in Oxford.
The suspect now in custody for what authorities are calling a targeted attack.
There was a relationship, from what I understand.
It's a story we first brought you as breaking news this morning.
It was really scary. I really didn't know what to do.
There's women there having babies, or surgeries.
The new information coming in this hour about the hospital shooting.
Alarming, frightening. It's the story everyone in Metro Detroit is talking about. A hospital shooting here at home making headlines across the country. So many scary minutes with so little information. Thank you for joining us. I'm Glenda Lewis.
And I'm Mike Duffy. Now it's news that no one wanted to wake up to, but there's a good chance that you did. Emergency alert. Active shooter reported near Troy Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital. Avoid the area and shelter in place.
And that's just the beginning of that message and the beginning of many of us fearing for family and friends. Multiple shots fired, multiple people taken in for questioning.
Moments ago, we received body cam video from the Troy police of the first responding officer. You can see him grabbing a rifle from his vehicle before walking into that parking garage. Authorities calling the shooting an isolated incident. Again, 2 employees involved. The victim, a 25-year-old man from Troy, being treated at that hospital right now. The suspect arrested outside a home in Macomb County.
We do have live team coverage starting right now with 7 News Detroit reporter Sarah Michaels outside of the hospital in Troy. Sarah.
Glenda, Mike, it has truly been a whirlwind of a day here in Troy. Calls of an active shooter here at the hospital sending much of Metro Detroit into a panic this morning. Hundreds of people at this hospital sheltering in place for hours, and police agencies from across our communities speeding into action.
Pure shock. Pure shock. And then to hear it was an employee, that even hit harder.
Barbara Kapitanich is an employee here at Corewell Health Beaumont. She tells us that as she was pulling into work Thursday morning, other employees started screaming at her that there was an active shooter and to stay inside her car. Her thoughts immediately going to those inside.
Our patients, of course. There's women there having babies. Or surgeries.
Staff and patients inside the hospital sheltered in place. Staff receiving this message saying that the suspect is still at large and roads around the hospital are closed. Across Troy, residents received this message asking them to shelter in place and avoid the area. Now, all of this as Metro Detroit police agencies flooded DeQuinder Road.
This morning at 7:08, our dispatch received a call from Corewell Health Hospital reporting an active shooter event in the parking garage.
Troy Police Chief Josh Jones now telling us that as they arrived, they discovered that this was a targeted event. The suspect and victim are both employees at the hospital. Right after they pulled into work, the suspect fired at least 5 shots at the victim, hitting him in the arm. The suspect then fled. The victim went to the emergency entrance for care.
There was a relationship, from what I understand, that they were friends at some point. It sounds like there was some kind of falling out recently.
Over in Macomb Township, around 2.5 hours after the shooting, police arrested the suspect at a home. Jones tells me that they believe the suspect is around the same age as the victim, in his mid-20s. He's expected to be arraigned in the coming days.
How do you feel about police response today?
Yeah, I do. I feel very proud of our officers that responded.
As they should. Of course, there are so many people this evening safe, but honestly shaken up from having to shelter in place for hours inside this hospital, at times not knowing what was going on. We do want to share with you that Oakland County has opened up their Resilience Center for anyone impacted who would like to seek help. Reporting live in Troy, Sarah Michaels, 7 News Detroit.
So important to receive that help if you need it. Sarah, thank you for the update and that live report.
Now our team coverage continues with Randy Wimbley live in Troy. He's hearing from patients reflecting on all that chaos.
And some turned away for appointments, others forced to shelter in place. Randy?
Yeah, guys, I talked with a long-term patient here who says that she woke up to that alert that you guys mentioned a bit earlier. She says that she had to do a double take when she picked up her phone. Take a look.
Was like, oh man, not again, thinking at first it was a school, and then I read it more carefully and saw that it was at Corewell in Troy.
Angela Penrose was one of many patients who had to shelter in place as law enforcement converged onto the hospital campus searching for the shooter.
The hallways were like completely quiet. You could hear like one person's IV down the hall beeping, and that was it.
She says you could hear a pin drop on the 5th floor of the hospital just before the Oakland County Sheriff's Office SWAT team cleared the building.
There was some banging on my door, and a guy said, "Sheriff," and he came in, and he was like one of the SWAT guys, and he had a flashlight and a big assault rifle, and he said, "Is there anybody in here with you?" And I said, "No, I'm alone." And he said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm fine." And then he left. He said, "Just stay in your room."
Linda Brady drove into Troy from Oxford for a doctor's appointment Thursday morning, unsure if the alert she got en route was for the area in general or the hospital in particular.
And I pulled up and got right there by the hospital, and there were just, 100 cop cars, just lights flashing all over the place.
Corewell put the hospital on lockdown after police first received the call around 7 o'clock Thursday morning. It lasted for several hours.
Our team is incredibly inspired by how quickly everything that we've done to prepare and rehearse for situations like this occurred, and the coordination is just a testament to the amazing agencies that we work with and our team members.
Penrose echoed that praise, but questions why patients are not able to lock their doors in the event they have to hide from an active shooter.
And obviously that's for patient safety in some ways, but maybe there needs to be a way to be able to do that, because if the person was on this floor, there's no way to lock a patient door or even the door to the bathroom.
All right, guys, and I got a text from Angela Penrose just a few moments ago. I want to read it to you in part. I've spent more than 600 days in the hospital over the last 3 years, and the workers on this floor are incredible. The nurses, aides, the cleaning people, the maintenance people, they really are what make this hospital what it is. High praise for the frontline workers here at Corewell Beaumont Hospital in Troy, looking after their patients while sheltering in place from an active shooter. Live in Troy, I'm Randy Wembley, 7 News Detroit.
Definitely could have been so much worse. Thank you so much, Randy.
And Troy wasn't the only community flooded with emergency cars this morning. The Corewell Health employee who allegedly pulled that trigger arrested outside a home in Macomb County nearly 2.5 hours later. These moments coming as relief to so many.
Our coverage continues right now with 7 News Detroit reporter Tiara Braddock live in Macomb Township.
And she's hearing from neighbors who live in that area. Tiara?
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? The neighborhood has pretty much gone back to normal, but that wasn't the case. As you guys said, police cars lined the street up and down, and residents have been telling me that they were just shocked that the shooting suspect was arrested in their neighborhood.
A car came, blocked off the street, and then next thing you know, there was hundreds of cops in jeans, some in suits.
Aiden Volpini lives nearby where the suspect in the Troy hospital shooting was arrested. Police say one person was arrested and another was taken in for questioning.
It was unreal. I mean, nothing I thought I would ever see.
Troy police say after the shooting, which left a 25-year-old man injured, they got information that the suspect was at a home in Macomb Township near 21 Mile in Haydenreich.
Very obviously, whenever anything like that is going to happen in your own neighborhood, it's going to, raise some serious concern. My other 2 children were in the home, and so immediately my reaction was to even step outside once I saw the amount of cops coming up and just say, "Are we safe? Are we okay?"
Renee Shupe also lives in the neighborhood and says it's terrifying that something like this happened at a hospital.
When or how is it going to stop? And it just feels like nothing is safe anymore. I mean, my mom was talking to my mom, and she's like, "I was just scheduled for a mammogram." Just knowing that it could happen at any time is terrifying.
Police haven't released the suspect's name or age since he hasn't been officially charged yet, but what we do know is that he worked at Corewell Health Beaumont Hospital in Troy. Police say the suspect and the victim were friends, but it appears they had a falling out. The Macomb County Sheriff's Office helped bring the suspect into custody. Commander Jason Abro says they were able to arrest him without incident.
This was a tragic situation that occurred in their city, and I'm just happy that we were able to safely apprehend this suspect. Multiple departments from different agencies also showed up for assistance.
Now, once we learn more about the suspect's age and name, we'll make sure to update you all online and on air. Glenda.
All right, Tiara, thank you for the update. Mike.
And we're, of course, thinking of the many people that work at the hospital and how today's shooting and lockdown may be affecting them. Our chief health editor, Dr. Partha Nandi, works right there at the Troy Hospital. I spoke with him about today's active shooter response and the considerations inside the hospital.
Nothing's perfect. This is a situation everybody never wants to happen. But I think the response was quick and was appropriate.
And obviously this situation highlights the reality of these situations. Is there anything that we can learn from something like this happening today?
Yeah, here's the thing, right? People think it'll never happen to me. I think that's the key here. It can happen to anywhere, anytime, and even in places like I feel, and I'm biased, right? I'm a doctor. I feel our places are places of healing. They should be exempt, but they're really not. I think we all need to be aware of our surroundings and not ignore warnings. If something feels off, if you're concerned about someone's safety or behavior, whether it's a coworker, a patient, anyone in campus, speak up. And it is really important to do it early. And reporting concerns early might help stop something like this from happening. But I think the key is that it can happen anywhere.
Yeah, and of course, we hate to hear something like this happening in a place like that, but it really does bring it home that we have to be prepared. And thankfully, in this instance, they seem to have been.
Yeah, everybody came together and kept their patients safe, and that was important, but really frightening.
Extremely.
Make sure to stay with us right here on 7. You'll also find our live blog with a closer look at every development right now at WXYZ.com. And of course, our app is free.